first ever video. We're the Corral family. Today we just want to talk about our story, how we did it when we were 16 and pregnant. We really want to start this channel kind of to showcase our story, how we did everything. But not only that, but to kind of give shine a light on people that go through the same thing that we kind of went through when we found out we were pregnant. Sophomore year of high school, we're both 16. There was nobody out there that kind of was doing this, and it kind of, at the time, everybody's situation's a little bit different, but I feel like at the time it kind of, maybe would have helped us. Everything that I kind of saw on YouTube when I looked it up was that, it was just single moms with, no, the dad or, the father wasn't in the picture or something like that. So I think me and her, documenting this process, our lives, our journey throughout this whole thing, I think is really gonna, help some people out, throughout their life and throughout their situation, if their situation is identical. So today we kind of want to talk a little bit about our story, how we did it. We found out she was pregnant when we were sophomores in high school. We were both 16, like I said, and it was crazy. It was, like I said, it was crazy. It was a roller coaster of emotions. It was just unbelievable at the time. But luckily we both had great support systems. We both, our families were amazing throughout the whole thing, better than they really probably should have been, and we're grateful for that. Me personally, it was, at the time, I was focused on playing sports, trying to juggle that. And when we found out, it was like, okay, how do we do this? And like I said before, nobody really had like a layout for this. Like, okay, you kind of follow these steps, or you can kind of do this and that, and you might be successful. It was nothing like that. It was kind of like me and her figuring it out, because not a lot of people are in the same situation as us. And, I thought that was, at the end of the day, I think it's kind of unique, our situation. And like I said, I think that's why we want to share it. So I don't know if you want to get into a little bit of how it was for you, more or less, when you found out, or when you told me and stuff like that, and how the first...
It wasn't so much how it was for me. It was just, I kind of already had suspicions that we were pregnant within the first month. I just had my suspicions. I've always had my instincts. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I don't think I called you first, did I?
No, you called your cousins.
I called my cousins first and told them, because I had been telling them that I was pregnant. And then I called him to tell him I was pregnant, and, well, he freaked out. I didn't really freak out. I just kind of expected it. I think more because, well, I've always wanted to be a teen mom, so I kind of expected it. It wasn't hard. It was hard when we had to tell our parents more, because, like he said, they supported us, but they were mad.
Yeah, it started off kind of rocky.
My mom was mad.
Yeah, it started off really rocky, to be honest. My mom is kind of like the easier one to talk to. Like, she kind of like will sit there and think like, okay, how do I respond to this kind of thing? And my dad's kind of like the opposite. So it was like, she called me, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night already. And my parents are both asleep. And I'm like, she's telling me, and she's like, you got to tell your mom, you got to tell your mom. Or she was telling me that I had to tell my parents, and I'm like, I don't want to. And so I was like, you know what, if I'm going to tell anybody first, I'm going to tell my mom. I knocked on the door, and my dad wakes up and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I need to talk to mom. And I was like, my heart was pounding. I was like, how are they going to respond? What are they going to do? I was just freaking out. And my mom came to my room, and I started bawling, crying. And I don't really know why I was crying. I mean, I was scared, but I don't know why I was crying. I think it was kind of like, I felt like I might have let my parents down. So I was bawling, crying, trying to get it out that I was pregnant.
But she had a guess.
And I was like, it was so nerve-wracking. And, we finally calmed down. She talked to me. And actually, I didn't even tell my dad that night. I went to school the next day, and my mom calls me and she's like, I told your dad. And I was like, oh. I was like, that one hurt. And I don't think he talked to me for the rest of the day until I got home. And he talked to me and stuff like that. And he wasn't really mad. I think he had time to kind of settle down, which was very helpful. So he had time to settle down, and from there it's kind of just like, what are you gonna do? Now you got a family that's gonna be relying on you. You got to provide and stuff like that. And at that point in time, I was like, yeah, I know. And boy, was I wrong. It was complete, change. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't the best, get off that we had. My parents' punishment for me was making me tell my brother. So I grew up like my brother was like my biggest role model. I wanted to be exactly like my brother. And so at the time, my brother was working like a really messed up schedule. I think he was like getting home really like later. He was getting up really early, one of the two. And so I called him, and at the time, he was living in Phoenix. And so he was like an hour and a half away from us. And so at the time, I called him, and it was, like I said, it was really late. Or no, I want to say this was already the next day, actually. They make me call my brother, and he's asleep already, and I call him, and I'm like, hey, I got to tell you something. And he's like, in his half asleep voice, he's like, what happened? And I was like, I kind of like stood there for a little bit, and I was like, I got Ali pregnant. And dead silence for like 5 minutes. I kept like looking at the phone like, are you still there? He's still there. But I wasn't like saying anything. I kept like checking to see if he was still on the phone. And he said some words that really weren't, too nice. Kind of legal.
They're expected.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely expected. I knew I wasn't going to get off clean, but at the end of the day, he kind of gave me the same talk that my dad did. And, kind of left it at that. The next time I saw him, when he came down, he had another talk with me and stuff like that. But I mean, that was kind of the toughest part, was just getting past my parents. I mean, I love my entire family, everyone from uncles and aunts to cousins, but my main thing was just getting past my mom, my dad, and my brother, because those are the three most important people, to me at that time, to tell. And so that was kind of how it was for me. How was it for you?
I texted my mom. I didn't tell her anything. My cousin kind of came over when I found out I was pregnant. After I had FaceTimed them. Or no, it was the next day. It was the next day, because when we found out, it was the week of my mom's birthday. So that made it worse. And so the next day, my cousin came over, whatever, we were talking about it, and I was like, I had to tell my mom, but I was going to wait until after her birthday week. But the thing is, I have to get in with doctors once you found out and stuff. You have to like do your prenatal care and all that. So I ended up texting my mom. It was late at night, and I texted her, and she was just kind of like cussing me out, whatever. And she was like, when I get home, like, whatever, all of that. And well, it wasn't pretty. I felt more bad. She didn't hit me or anything, but like I kind of felt more bad because it was her birthday week, so it was ruined. And then she just kind of looked me in the eyes, and like, I think she kind of took it more to the heart, just because she's a single mom, so she raised all of us, so she didn't expect any of us to get pregnant at 16. So she was just like, she cried, and then she called my uncle and all that. But after that, I think it was like a week or two where she was like not really talking to me. She would like talk to me, but it was like very little, like, it was more like she had anger against me, so anytime I say something, she would like...
Short answers.
Yeah. And so, that's what happened to me. That was where my mom... My grandparents, on the other hand, was...
Yeah, that was really a shock.
That was a shock, because...
When they were like excited, I'm like...
Well, no, not my nana.
Your nana
my
wasn't
nana
excited,
was
but your tata
kind of
was
like... My nana was... I expected to be both of them mad, but my nana was more like, oh, you're gonna have an abortion, like you're not gonna keep this baby, like kind of telling me what I had to do with the baby, or with my son. And my tata is kind of like, you would expect him to be the one to like get you in trouble.
I
and
was
like,
scared for that one.
He was scared, but my tata was actually the one that's like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Like everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna figure it out. Things happen for a reason and all that. So that was a shock because I was terrified to tell him. I was like crying because that's my dad figure in my life. So I was freak out, and he took it a lot better than I expected. So I think it was once kind of I told him and he like made me feel better. I really didn't care not like about my mom or my nana's opinion, but I really didn't care if they were mad at me because at the end of the day, like, they're gonna get over it. They really don't have a choice because abortion was never in the option. When I first found out I was pregnant, I told them there was no way, because we had to sit down with his parents and my mom about what we were gonna do, and I already had told him that abortion and adoption was not even in the option. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go through with that. I know other people do it and that's okay, that's your body, but I wasn't gonna do it, and I like wanted to keep my son, so we kind of just had to figure it out from there, because he didn't really have a choice. I mean, he could have left, but he didn't.
And it really wasn't allowed. Like, I grew up having both my parents, and I'm extremely grateful for that every day. So I wasn't gonna abandon, a situation that I created, or that I helped create, I guess. That was never in the picture for me. That was never in the cards for me. I wanted to be there with him.
Regardless of,
regardless.
If we were together, if we weren't together.
Yeah, no, me and her were gonna, figure it out one way or another, because I was gonna be in my son's life no matter what. And so, once we kind of got past telling people, getting the reactions and stuff like that, everything kind of just settled down, and now it was just kind of getting through, being in high school, being pregnant. It was
more for me being pregnant in high school, because it sucked.
But at the same time, when she found out she was pregnant, so obviously we're both going to school. She stopped, or no, you kept playing basketball for a little bit, right?
No, I was done with basketball season when I was pregnant. I started track. I was doing track when I was in my first trimester. And the only reason I continued it was because I was already almost done with it. So I didn't want to really stop it, even though it could have been. I couldn't really stop doing track, even though it was like
a risk.
It was a risk, and I did fall, but it was kind of like.
I'm glad she kept doing it though.
I was so athletic at the time that I didn't really. I didn't want to stop.
When she told me that she was gonna keep doing it, I'm like, I don't want you to. Like, it's a big risk. Like, you could fall, and it'd be bad for both of you guys. But when she decided to do it, I'm glad she stuck with it. She set out, and she wanted to do something. She did it. And at the end of the day, kind of when I look back at it, at the time, I wasn't happy at all. But now, looking back at it, I'm glad she stuck with it. But at the time, we were both going to school. She was finishing up track, and football.
It was kind of the end of the year already, close to the end. It was like March, so like we ended in May, so it was like close to the end of the year already.
Yeah,
when we found out.
So, but the tough part for me was juggling, because at that point in time, like I said, we're both going to school, and then football was year round for me. So I was like, when football season was football season, obviously it was practice and football. But then when it was off season, when football season was over, we were weightlifting like every day. Like, we barely had time off. So it was always like juggling all three. I was going to school, I was playing football, had a family, and then eventually I ended up getting a job. So I was juggling like all four, and it was tough. And a lot of the time she was bailing me out of situations with homework. She was, she was for the majority of, I would say, the first 6 months, if not a little bit longer, she was doing like majority of the work. I was present.
I was pregnant though.
No.
I don't know when we were pregnant or after.
No, yeah. But what I'm saying is that you were doing majority of everything. Like,
I was by myself. It was just more by myself.
Yeah, like, she was always by herself. Like, we weren't living together at the time. She was living with her mom. I was still living with my parents. But it was like, she was handling the whole situation on her own and stuff like that. And while I was, doing as much as I could on my part, and that was tough. That was tough, but
it wasn't easy. Pregnancy wasn't easy, especially when you're in high school. There's so many people that talk, and the only reason I say is because I know some of you guys are going through this. You're going to go through it at some point. Everybody's going to talk, whether it's your friends, whether it's the people that don't like you. Everybody is going to talk about you regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless if you're pregnant. And as I don't want to, don't take this wrongly, but as a woman, a girl in high school pregnant, you're the one that's more talked about. The guy is not really whatever, because they don't whatever. I don't want to say you're not whatever, but they don't expect anything from the guy. It's more the girls that it's kind of oh, you're pregnant, you messed up, you're sleeping around, it's everything about you that is the wrong. It's you're in the wrong for everything. So I was always targeted. I feel I was always targeted when I was pregnant, and I went through a lot during my pregnancy, so it was the worst experience with my son. But I did I got through it, and I say it's hard in high school being pregnant because I went through postpartum after my son, and it was really bad. And I feel how would I say this? In my opinion, if you're pregnant in high school, I just wouldn't listen to anybody. I listen to everybody because I care about what people think about me, and that's my biggest what would it be my biggest, not pet, I guess a pet peeve about myself, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That I care about care about what people think about me, but it's in reality, you really don't need to care about what anybody has to say. It's your body, it's your choice. Yeah, you don't want it to happen so young, but it happens.
I think one of our biggest things was that everything happens for a reason. So we figured that it was put in our path for one reason or another. Whether we liked the timing, whether we didn't like the timing, it was there, and it was time for us to deal with it. Now, how she's saying that don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody at all. The people who matter, the people whose opinion matters, are the ones that are going to support you, because
they're going to be there for you.
Because I had maybe a total of 3 or 4 friends that were
Grayson, turn off the water.
I don't want to say supportive, but it didn't really change anything between us. It they stayed, my friends kind of to this
turn
day.
off the water.
And so I think that was one of my biggest things, and I really didn't care what people at school thought. It was more just how my family was gonna act. And once, like I said earlier, once we kind of got past that, that was kind of the easier part, because that's all I really cared about. If they were okay with it, not okay with it, but if they were over it or dealing with it, why would I care what other people think? Because these are the people who matter the most to me. And at the end of the day, where we're at right now is that we don't matter how it looks. It's mine and hers decision. Whatever we decide to do in anything in life, it's mine and hers decision. Yeah, at the time we were 16.
Turn it off now.
Yeah, at the time we were 16 and we couldn't even, we weren't technically adults yet. But, at the time it was mine and hers decision, and I think that was the biggest thing. And from going through high school, through her whole pregnancy, there was quite a few rough patches, but, we were able to get through them. And fast forward to him being born, that was the best thing ever. That was kind of a payoff.
That was
that was what, puppy?
Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Once labor and delivery was really easy. It's not the easiest, but it's easy. It was easy in my experience. I think I dealt with it good. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I was yelling, and
she was yelling, and I'm dang, okay. And luckily, we got really, really lucky, because Grayson was born a couple months before the pandemic hit heavy. So
he was due right on his due date. He was born right on his due date.
But I think the nicest part was I really didn't know how to deal with it. I was trying to be as supportive as I could and stuff like that, but her mom was the one that really got us through it, because she saved.
I would have killed him. My mom saved my life.
There was some moments where we were just wow,
Grayson.
and I'm how I didn't know what to do, and luckily her mom was right there with her the whole time, and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a couple of times where I fell asleep and.
I think I went 12 hours without the epidural because at first when we got there, I had to walk around. Like I was having contractions, but I had to walk around to dilate because I wasn't dilating within an hour. And then finally when I did, they sent us up to the next room. That's when the contractions hit. So they were giving me the water room. It's an overflow. They were giving me obviously they gave me like 3 doses of something. I don't remember what it's called. And it helped me a lot. Like it was for 20 minutes, but it helped me like sleep for those 20 minutes before I had to go through those contractions again. And then going forward, I let the contractions get like worse, and I was dilating, but I was dilating very slowly, and so that was hard. But after 12 hours, I was just kind of like my contractions started coming back to back to back to back. So I just finally was like, you know what, I'm getting the epidural. I wanted to go natural, but I was like, I cannot. It was hard on my body. So my contractions started coming back to back. And at that point, I was just exhausted and tired. So I was just like, you know what, give me the epidural. Like, I'm done. And you're okay. Play with the agua. And so I had the epidural 5 hours. And then I was in labor for 18 hours. Finally had him, and honestly I don't regret keeping him at all. I do not regret it. There's parts of me that wishes I would have had the like experience of a high school student, because I had to grow very fast. Like I matured quick. Once he was out, like once I was pregnant actually, I was like, okay, I gotta do this. I can't just go out and be who I want to be. So I matured really quick. So I never got to experience the life that everybody else did. And so, but he saved my life. He really did save my life when he got here. I don't know about you.
I think both. Like, honestly, I think
I don't think it hits men. I don't think it hits them that like we're having a kid until you see the kid. As a woman, it's like you carry them for the 9 months.
Yeah, you guys are going through like all like.
We're going through our body changes, our everything.
So I feel like that really like helped her like understand the situation. Like I understood the situation. Like in my head, like I would think about the situation and okay, it was there, but it was never like okay, like this is what I need to stick to this. Yeah, this is what I need to do. This is until like it wasn't until I held him when he was born was like. Okay, like this is it. Like this is for real. Like, and
even then, it took you a little bit though.
It did, and
it took him a little bit to kind of be like, oh, I'm a family man now. But it did eventually. It finally clicked, and I don't know. I think we made it work.
No, yeah, I mean that was the biggest thing is there was a lot of rough patches, and there's gonna be rough patches regardless of any type of situation. There's a lot of rough patches in between, but from
especially being in high school.
Yeah, but from start to end, or not from start to end, but start to where we're at right now is, a place that I never would have thought I'd be at. I don't think either of us thought that.
Well, I always wanted to be a teen mom. You didn't. I always told my mom when I was young that I was going to be a mom at 16. I don't know why, but I always had that feeling that I was. So I don't know, I feel like I was ready for it. I
don't think you're ever really ready for it though.
No, I was ready for it.
I don't think you can like say like, okay, like I was ready for it, but like you're never like exactly ready for like the exact situation because it was crazy. But I mean, once he was born to where, like I said, where we're at right now
it changed a lot.
It got us through a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
It got us through a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, I'm grateful for it because
I think we've talked about it. Where if we didn't have him, I don't think it would have lasted.
No,
we would have went our 2 different ways, especially if we would have went to college. So
yeah.
I think having him was there for a reason, and we've gotten through a lot. So it's like as a family and as a couple, so it made us grow a lot.
It did.
Made us mature.
And I always look back at it and like whether, talking with my friends or the people that I work with, and a lot of the times like I'll go to work and you know, they'll like we'll be there talking and stuff like that, and be like, "You're 18," and I'm like, "Well, I just turned 19," and then I'm like, "Yeah," you know, like, "You got a kid already?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Me and my wife are married," and stuff like that. And it freaks people out, but it's like it was the biggest blessing, because not that he saved my life, like that I was doing anything crazy, but I definitely think he got me out of a lot of situations. He got me out of a lot of like worse stuff that I probably could have been doing, and you know, I'm grateful for that. And being home with my family is like the best stuff ever. Like, I prefer that, you know, day in and day out over doing anything else. And, you know, coming home, movie nights, or going out to, you know, go see stuff or anything like that is like,
adventures.
Yeah, little adventures and stuff like that. It's the best stuff ever, and it's like it's uncomparable. Honestly, that was my biggest thing. And every day from when he was born to now has just been growing points. He's growing, we're growing. I mean, we're only 19. We just turned 19, so it's literally been. He's growing. He's 2 years old. Gonna be 3 years old this year. He's growing. We're growing. You know, physically, we're growing. We're growing mentally, emotionally. We're growing every way possible, and it's amazing to see that, you know, our family is growing, and in the positive ways. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start this channel. We wanted to start this channel to show our adventures, show our stories, share our stories. You know, it's something that was never really talked about, like I said earlier. And now I want it to be. You know, I'm proud of where we're at right now. I think me and my wife have accomplished a lot from where we started at to where we're at right now. We're 19.
Now expecting a baby girl.
Yeah, now we're on to the second one, which is going to be exciting here in a couple of weeks. So you guys will be along for that one with us.
Yeah.
You guys will get to see Grayson continue to grow from where, you know,
He is right now.
Yeah, 2 years old, little daredevil, little travieso like he is, but it's amazing to see coming home to, you know, somebody waiting for you, somebody happy to see you. Is like the best. It's the best. So yeah, you guys will get to be along with us for baby number 2, and we're excited for that. We're excited to share our journey. 19, parents of 2. We really didn't share this earlier, but I'm from Arizona, and for majority, well, half your life.
I'm from Oregon.
But majority of
half to Arizona.
Yeah, half of our life was spent in Arizona. So we recently just moved from Tucson, Arizona to Vancouver, Washington, about a month ago. So
we're 1,000 miles away from our main family.
Yeah, that's been a roller coaster in itself too. But I think it's made us a lot closer, and it's an experience like no other. But getting through it is amazing. So, I mean, anything else you kind of want to talk about?
No, I just think that I like I said, like being 16 and pregnant, I just like want you guys to know it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's actually probably the hardest thing that I've ever gone through.
By no means are we condoning anything.
No.
We're not saying go do it, we did it, go do it. No,
but
we're not saying that.
But if you happen to like end up falling in this path.
Yeah, if you're in this situation, you know, right now, and you're like, I don't know what to do, this is why we're doing it. I'm not saying go out and do it because we did it. No, not at all.
It's different for everybody, and it's different for, it just depends on your situation, on what you're in. Like, we're grateful that we were in a good situation. Not really in a good situation, but we had good, like, family that accepted us for being pregnant. And even if family didn't, then okay, well, you're not our main family. Like, we got through it. But it's like, I know there's situations out there where families are a lot harder when they find out they're pregnant at 16 or even younger. So
this story could have gone a lot different.
Yeah, we could have had a very bad experience, and we could have been like, nope, we're not doing this. Like, so that's why we want to share our story to tell you guys. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not the easiest, but it's not the hardest thing. I mean, I went through a lot, and it's very hard. It's probably for me, it's the hardest thing I've ever gone through. But only because I care what people think about me. So that's why it was hard for me. But like if you're like him, like you don't really like nobody's opinion matters other than your family's, you're gonna be fine. I feel like you're gonna be fine. I mean, we made it work. There's so many programs out there too that can help you. Like, we had a lot of help with our
Just
pregnancy.
talking to people a lot of the time helps too, but you know, majority of the time, you know, for whoever watches this, whether you're watching it because you want advice or you want to see, you know, how we did it, or you're watching it because, you know, you want to watch our family grow, or you want to, you know,
hear our story,
whatever the reason may be, there's, you know, leave comments. We'll read the comments to understand why you guys are watching it, so we can hit on these points and talk about these points. You know, this video was not a short video, but an in-depth kind of video of how we did it, you know, where our story started from. Like I said, sophomores in high school to be 19, living in our own apartment 1,000 miles away from our family, with one born child and one on the way here in a couple of weeks.
Literally a couple of weeks.
So it's like that we're trying to show you guys, you know, not only the times that, you know, the in-between time, but we're trying to show you the guys from here. We're trying to show you us from now on.
It can happen, and it can work.
And
if you
yeah,
make it work.
And that's the biggest thing is one of the biggest things, and I think this is one of the last things we'll hit on, is one of the things we lacked early in our and mostly for me was communication. That was like the biggest thing, is not talking, you know, the problems out, or talking the situation out, or whatever it might have been. Could have been the simplest thing, but communication was the biggest thing. And a lot of the time, like, my mom would talk to me, and like she would see or hear some of the arguments, or, you know, whatever it might have been, and she'd be like, "You guys gotta talk it out," and I'd be like, yeah. But like, looking back on it now, if I would have talked half of our situations out, half of our fights, whatever it might have been, it would have gotten us through so much better. And that's one of the things I really look back on and I regret, because how hard of a pregnancy she went through was majority my fault. It was a lot of my fault.
It was a lot of his fault.
It was a lot of my fault. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not saying anything of what I did was good, you know, but me and her have gone through, to us, we feel like hell and back. And it's, you know, us as a relationship, us as, you know, a couple, as a family, as a husband and wife, we feel that it's made us rock solid, that, you know, there's no stupid kind of petty thing that's going to break us apart when everything that we've been through has gotten us where we are right now. We see that, you know, getting through it works. We're going to keep getting through it because we want to see this develop and continue to get better and see our family grow.
Of communication, forgiveness, and you just have to be, forgiveness is a big one. So it's just a lot of communication, forgiveness, and trust that you just have to work through it. Like, you really can't just give up on it. I mean, and if you are a single mother out there who's doing this at 16 and pregnant by yourself, I give you props, because I don't know if I would have been able to do it myself.
And I mean, even if you're not in the same identical situation as us, you know, being together, and you're 16 and pregnant, single mom, I mean, leave comments for her, leave questions for her. I mean,
yeah, I can help.
She can get you through as much as she can get you through. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're not here to, you know, do anything else but, you know, to show you that it's possible to, you know, share our family with you guys. We want to, you know, just be here for you guys. So that's our biggest thing. And I think on that note, we'll kind of wrap it up. You know, leave comments, you know, stuff that you guys want to hear, stuff that you guys want to see.
Show Grayson in the next.
Yeah, he's taking a bath right now. That's why you guys can hear water in the back and stuff.
Right,
he's taking a bath right now. He has running water, draining all the water, but
he hasn't been having it. He's teething right now, so.
But we're gonna get you out right now.
We'll definitely show him in the next video, and we'll keep you guys updated on baby girl.
Baby number 2, or we're not gonna do the name yet.
I mean, it's on my Instagram.
Yeah, everybody knows the name. So baby number 2 is
Kaylani. We're having a girl.
What's the middle name? Have we decided?
Kaylani.
Kaya, right?
We have Kaya right now as the middle name. I don't know what's gonna.
Ready? It's recording. So for right now, I think right now for her name we have Kaylani.
Kehlani Kyra, but it might change. I don't know yet.
We're kind of still up in the air about the middle name.
Kehlani's definitely her name.
Yeah, her first
it's
name.
It's just her middle name that we're having. People like it, people don't like it.
Yeah.
And then we like it at one point, then we kind of like, well, let's try something. I don't know.
Yeah, we've been trying to kind of find like that happy medium. It's been a little rough, but you know, we're just trying to find something that she's gonna grow up and she's gonna be like, wow, like this is kind of unique.
Yeah.
This is like, you know, people always compliment her. She always gets compliments on her name. So, you know, I think it'd be really cool for our daughter to grow up and get kind of like that same thing where people are growing up, or well, she's like growing up and meeting new people. They're like, oh, like I really like your name and stuff like that. So we're just trying to find something cool and unique for her. That way she grows up kind of enjoying her name and stuff like that. I think that's a big thing. So
because Kehlani's definitely her name. We've always said it. I've always said it.
Yeah.
When we were pregnant with Grayson, that if we had a girl next, her name was gonna be Kehlani. So.
No, but I mean, like I said, just kind of, you know, like, subscribe, stick around for more. You know, we're gonna continue to upload. We're gonna try and do as many videos a week as, you know, as possible. We want to upload good content for you guys, not just kind of like boring stuff.
Sitting here and talking.
Yeah, no, this will probably be more likely like the last time we ever do this, unless we got like really something important to talk to you guys about.
Or you guys want to hear stories.
Yeah, or something like that. But I just thought, you know, as our first video, introduce you guys to us and our family, and you know, go from there, because you know, how are you gonna watch somebody if you kind of don't know a little bit of their backstory and stuff like that, and why we're starting this channel and what we're doing it for and stuff like that. So, like I said, leave comments. Well, you know, we're gonna read the comments, see what you guys think. You know, what you guys want to hear. Let us know what you guys want to see. You guys want, you know, an apartment tour. You guys want more stories. You guys want whatever you guys want. You know, we're gonna try and just upload as much content as we can for you guys. That way you guys see us as a family and stuff like that. Definitely, like we said earlier, Grayson will be in the next video and stuff like that. But we're gonna leave a link in the description for our family Instagram account. And then our family TikTok account, where mainly it's Grayson and Mom doing videos and stuff like that. So you guys can definitely watch that stuff. But we're going to leave those links in the description. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.